We, in terms of our role, were able to identify it as Novichok, to identify that it was a military-grade nerve agent. We have not verified the precise source, but we provided the scientific information to the government, who have then used a number of other sources to piece together the conclusions that they've come to.
But you have not been able to establish at Porton Down that this was made in Russia?
As I said, it's our job to provide, the scientific evidence that identifies what the particular nerve agent is. We identified that it was from this family and that it's a military-grade nerve agent, but it's not our job to then say where that actually was manufactured.
Is it possible to establish where these things are manufactured?
It can be established through a number of different input sources which the government has access to. From our perspective, scientific evidence is only one of those sources, and it requires a number of other things in order to verify that.
So to be clear, you're not able at Porton Down to say where it is from?
At this stage, with the work that we've done thus far, we've been able to establish that it's Novichok or from that family. We are continuing to work to help to provide additional information that might help us get closer to, the question that you asked, but we haven't yet been able to do that.
Do you have antidotes? Were you able to supply antidotes that could be administered to the Skripals?
Unfortunately, this is an extremely toxic substance. There is not, as far as we know, any antidote that you can, use to negate the effects of it. We can and we have advised the hospital and the medics on the best course of trying to mitigate against the effects, but this is an extremely toxic substance and not something that you can easily, give something to somebody to help them recover.
What's your reaction to the suggestion that's come from the Russian side that this substance came from Porton Down?
Well, there's no way that anything like that would ever have come from us or, leave the four walls of our facilities. We deal with a number of very toxic substances as part of the work that we do. We've got the highest levels of security and controls. We are regularly audited by the OPCW to make sure that we're operating within those controls. And if there was any hint that anything that we have would be leaving our four walls, then we wouldn't be allowed to operate.
But you are in control of your four walls. What do you say to the theory that this is somehow a British operation and you've waved it out of the door?
Well, it certainly isn't anything that came from our facility, because, as I said, we've got the highest standards of control and security, and there's no way that anything like that could ever have come from Porton Down. It's a military-grade nerve agent, which requires extremely sophisticated methods in order to create something that's probably only within the capabilities of a state actor. And I wouldn't like to comment further on, precisely where that would be, but that's part of the ongoing investigation.